of we were speaking about the idea of the Rashbi, that Mampli on the Havaya Rashbi, that there are certain tzaddikim, that they are considered neshamas ta'atzilus, and because of that, when they speak highly about themselves, and definitely when others speak highly about them, it's not an idea of chas v'sholom, lack of bittul, but rather it's showing on because they are so miyuchad with Elikus that they are reflecting Elikus in their heights and elevations. And we said that the level of Achai V'Rei, like the Alter Rebbe, for example, that was also Neshama D'Atzilus, that needs to affect things down here in this world. And the same thing with the Baal Shem Tov, that the Bias HaMashiach is dependent upon when Yefutza Mayasecha Chutza, which happens through the Alter Rebbe. So then that is the Gilui Elikus, that's Sholem Bach. Now we said Sholem is going on the level of Zeir Anpin, Yesoid of Zeir Anpin, and Bach is going on the level of Malchus, and you have the Gilui Elikus. When you have Zoh being made into Malchus, you have that Gilui Elikus that comes down through those special neshamas. And he was speaking about how the Alter Rebbe, the Baal Shem Tov, are a continuation of each other. That it's really, this is the Toiras HaChassidus of the Baal Shem Tov, what the Alter Rebbe taught. He said that, first of all, that the Alter Rebbe affected this type of Hafotza Mayonis by bringing down and revealing Toiras Chassidus Chabad, that it should become revealed in Seichel Anushi, because up until Baal Shem Tov, the Baal Shem Tov taught us, let's say, how that we need to serve Hashem, and the Alter Rebbe taught us how is it possible to serve Hashem. So the Alter Rebbe had to, with Chabad, bring that down into intellect, into understanding, to give us the means how to do this. And the next thing that we're holding on is, what about those who don't serve Hashem through intellectual things? So we're holding on the first paragraph on the third page of the Maimer, page 237. The line begins a lakus. It's right after the line where the brackets conclude. It's 6 lines before Ois Hey. So the Rebbe goes on and says, "Va'ad shagam elu shabedosam einai leilim v'asagim." This is such a degree the Alter Rebbe brought down the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov, that even those that their study, that their avoida is not entailing learning and comprehension. Why is that not entailing that? Every Yid has to learn Torah. What's the idea? Why are they not? She says, "Kivim shadayin l'sheyachim uzeh." They're not. It's not yet applicable to them. They not yet holding by that avoida of using their intellect in the service of Hashem. So therefore, alavidosam hi l'shakin shmoi sham aide amiris bracho pasuk tilim. Their avoida is to make His name rest over there. How does one make Hashem's name rest over there? Like we spoke about in the previous mimer, that or last week's mimer, that valachta alabakim asher yivcha Hashem l'shakim shmoi sham, that when a Yid goes to a certain place, he ends up in a certain place. It's because Hashem chose him and chose that place for him to go over there. It's to make the Eibishter be shoichen over there. And how does He make it? So in today's Ayom Yom, it's quoted from the teachings that the Baal Shem Tov taught in Gan Eden, which only came out, the Rebbe points out in other places, only came out to Chabad. It was, in other words, through Chabad, the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov came down from Gan Eden. Other teachings that the Baal Shem Tov said while he was alive didn't go through Chabad. But when you see what's in Gan Eden, what the Baal Shem Tov taught, like in today's Ayom Yom, that was only Nizgala via Chabad to the rest of the world. So the Baal Shem Tov says in that Torah, what's it mean, L'shakin shmoi sham, in today's Ayom Yom, Aidei amiris bracha v'pasuk tilim, that even by reciting a bracha in a certain place, or saying a pasuk in Tilim, that is the making Hashem's name dwell wherever you are. So, what is the function then of Toras Chassidus Chabad in this aspect? In Aidei Teres Chassidus Chabad, Nasis Kam Etzlam Amidas Bracha Upasik Tilum Vayfenach Lagamri. Through the teachings of Chassidus Chabad, it becomes by them the saying of a bracha and the saying of a pasuk and tilum in a totally different way, even if they're not yet holding by sitting and learning Mamar Chassidus of Ayin Beis and so on. They're saying a bracha and they're saying a pasuk tilum through the teachings of Chassidus Chabad becomes more elevated than what would be if they would recite it only based on the Chassidus HaKlalis. K'mashal Adam, for example, a person, when he is an intellectual person, so it's not just that his intellect is something different, but the intellect impacts everything else. So then even his midas of chesed, gurteferes, and his netzach, malchus become in a much higher way than if he wasn't an intellectual person, because intellect impacts everything else. The same thing, the teachings of Chassidus Chabad impacts even the bracha and the pasuk tilum that the person says. So he says in Ois Hey, we can connect this with the teaching of Baal Shem Tov. That also is in today's Ayom Yom, that says when you'll come to the land that Hashem, your God, is giving to you an inheritance, and you will inherit it, and you will settle it. Meaning, the Baal Shem Tov explains, when a person comes to the will and the rushing, like we spoke about previously in the other mimer, it's a gift from above. That's why it says noisin lacha. As birusha, that's why it says nachla v'yirishta. It's an inheritance b'chol echad miYisrael. So what do I do with that gift that I've been given? So then the avoid is to take that rushing and passion type of connection with Hashem that I have by nature, I have because of an inheritance from Hashem, and I have to affect that it should be bisyashvos, it should be settled, it should have a place to reside via shaftaba. That's what it means via shaftaba. You should settle it. This means even the most lofty things that come from above. It's not my doing, it's something, a gift from above, it's an inheritance. One needs to affect in those lofty things that they should be settled. This is similar to the idea that we said, that we are making the shalom of Atzilus yuchad with malchus to be able to draw down the oiris and bias. Not enough to be in the world of Atzilus, we have to settle it into bias. Also, this is affected through the Alter Rebbe, specifically in the revelations of the teachings of Chassidus Chabad, that the merutza that the Yid has naturally towards Hashem should be settled within him. What does that mean? The idea behind this is Chabad, to the novelty and uniqueness of the teachings of Chassidus Chabad is all matters needs to be specifically through avodah. It's not just enough to say, well, I'm naturally attracted to Yiddishkeit and I have this passion that was given to me by a gift. That's not enough. One needs to import it into a way of and manifest it in a way of what have I contributed, what have I worked on it to have this. Therefore, also in those matters that come down from above, in a way of a gift and an inheritance, there has to be a matter of service. Top of the last page, they should be in a way that's settled. This just brings to mind the famous word that there was a chassid at Tzemach Tzedek that once came to the Tzemach Tzedek and asked that his child remembers everything that he sees by chassidim, and then therefore automatically he'll be a chassid. So that Tzemach Tzedek said that for the last 50 years, over 50 years, the Alter Rebbe and the Mittler Rebbe and myself are trying to inculcate in chassidim not to do things in the way of b'meila, to do things in the way of avodah. So this is the idea of Chassidus Chabad, that it should be even things that are inherited from and given as a gift from above should be settled. Why is that necessary that it should be settled, meaning through our avodah? What's insufficient with being a gift from above? The reason for this is, in addition to the fact that through working even with those things that we've been gifted, there is the quality and advantage that's not bread of shame, that's not something that was given to me, and I don't have the pleasure of it's. And not only that, it's embarrassing. Where did I get it from? I didn't earn it. So by working on it, I am removing that embarrassment of the bread of shame of just getting it as a gift without having earned it. An additional quality that a person has when he puts avodah into those things that come from above. We reach a much higher level than what was given from above in a way of a gift and an inheritance. In other words, we reach a level that's higher than a gift and higher than an inheritance, and even higher than a gift and inheritance being combined. We reach even higher than that, because the Rebbe in other places explains, since Hashem desires the actions of our hands, so that Hashem is more invested in the things that we do. So therefore, when we do our work on top of what Hashem gave us, the gift and the inheritance, so we connect on a much deeper level, we reach a much higher level of connection with Hashem. Last paragraph, yes, we could add to this, in addition to the avoid in those matters that come from above, that have to be in a way that's settled, that there is a special advantage also in those matters that come down through avodah. The Rebbe says that the avodah that we do in things that we didn't get, we create an even greater advantage than the avodah that we do in those things that came from above. And here the Rebbe points out, we could say, this is the uniqueness, what we'll see in today's Hayom Yom, for those that haven't read it yet, about the second teaching of the Baal Shem Tov. It says 2 teachings of the 7 teachings of the Baal Shem Tov. The second Torah of the Baal Shem Tov, that he repeated the Kisavei La'aretz. The general concept is the same thing. But in the second Torah, the Baal Shem Tov added, to be able to arrive at the will, is through the self-sacrifice to spread godliness in the world. He didn't mention that idea in the first Torah. He said, when you come to the Merutza and you come to the rushing desire of Hashem, so then with Samta Batena, you have to put it in vessels. But it doesn't say through the Mesiras Nefesh of spreading godliness. How come? What's the difference between the 2 Torahs? In the first Torah, it's speaking only about the Aretz, the will, the way it's on its own, in a way of a gift from above, in a way in the inheritance. In that avoid is that you come down in a way that's settled. So you're taking a gift and making sure that it's settled within you. So there's the avodah and the gift part. And the second teaching of the Baal Shem Tov, it's speaking about an even higher level in the will, in the land that we are coming to it. Not just in the avodah in matters that were given from above. He's talking about the avodah that's totally about the person's own power. All of this came about as a novel teaching through the Alter Rebbe in the revealing of the teachings of Chizz Chabad. Like we said before, that Chizz Chabad explained, amongst other things in this topic, the great Maila of the great advantage, the great quality that there is in avoda b'koyach atzmi.